everyone, welcome back to another installment of Home Media Reviews. This review is on The Punisher. Again. Well, The Punisher from 2004. Not the crappy one that we took a look at last week. No, this one stars Thomas Jane and John Travolta, and is based heavily on the comic storyline of Welcome Back Frank, written by Garth Ennis. And as I alluded to last week, this version of The Punisher I actually kind of enjoy. It's a hell of a lot better than the movie last week, but anything is pretty much better than the movie last week. With all that being said, let's jump right into the history section of The Punisher. So The Punisher was released into theaters on April 16th, 2004. I did not see this movie in theaters. I was 4 years old when this came out, so there was no possible way I would have been able to see this. Also, not even knowing who the Punisher or Marvel was when I was 4 years old. I did catch this movie on DVD back in, I think it was 2013, 2014, when I was getting more into comic books and getting more into films. I picked this movie up from FYE, and I watched it, and I very much enjoyed it when I was that age. Coming back to it now, though, there's definitely a lot more problems when it comes to this movie, but I still very much enjoy it. Kind of jumping into the recommends section here. This is the history. Keep all opinions out. This movie then got released on VHS and DVD on September 4th, 2004. Pretty standard stuff there. Cool to see that the VHS and the DVD came out on the same day. This was one of the earliest Blu-ray releases, as far as I know. This Blu-ray released on June 27th, 2006. 2006 was the year that Blu-ray came out and was really going to take the world by storm, so kind of cool that The Punisher from Lionsgate was one of the first Blu-ray releases, which pretty much means that its original Blu-ray doesn't look all that good. Then, after the release of Punisher Warzone in 2008, we got a Punisher 2-pack on Blu-ray on February 15th, 2011. They knew that they couldn't release this on Valentine's Day, so they said, let's wait a day. Punisher's a little bit too violent for Valentine's Day. But yet Deadpool came out around that time in 2016, so I don't know, Hollywood's weird. This movie was also included in a multitude of multi-film packs. May 7th, 2013, this was included in another multi-film pack. This time, it was known as the Ultimate Comic Book Collection. This included Conan the Barbarian, The Spirit, The Crow, the Punisher, and Kick-Ass. I've heard of all of those movies. The only ones I have seen are The Punisher and Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass is amazing. I love that movie so much. I have wanted to see The Crow for a while now. I didn't know it was based on a comic book, actually. And this particular set was available on both Blu-ray and DVD, in case you were wondering. Then a year later, on September 9th, 2014, we got a Walmart exclusive 3-pack Blu-ray set, which included The Punisher, The Spirit, and Kick-Ass. So we axed The Crow and Conan from that set, basically slimmed it down. And apparently it's a Walmart exclusive. Then on September 25th, 2018, Lionsgate released this movie on 4K along with Punisher Warzone. And I remember when this release first came out, a lot of people were clamoring for more Marvel movies on 4K. And this was prior to Disney reprinting all of their movies onto the 4K format. This was back when 4K was kind of newer, it was a little bit more niche, and people were just clamoring for more Marvel movies on 4K. So Lionsgate gave us that need, gave us The Punisher on 4K. It's been off store shelves for 4 years at that point. That's kind of crazy. So that is it for the history section of The Punisher. Let's move right into the close-up. Okay, everyone, here's your close-up look at The Punisher from 2004. I do not own the VHS release of this film. However, I do have, of course, the original DVD release, as I'm showing it to you right now. So we've got Thomas Jane right there with his long rifle in his Punisher outfit, and John Travolta's head right there next to him. This was always such a weird poster to me. It's simple, yeah, but it just, I don't know, it's just odd, especially with John Travolta's head just kind of pasted right there. It feels like an afterthought, in all honesty. We've got John Travolta and Tom Jane printed there, along with the Punisher. No holds barred action from Matt Leakey from Cleveland Sun. Mine's got a little residue, probably from a security sticker on it there. I did buy this used from, I believe, FYE back in the day. John Travolta's face there. The Punisher. I can't remember what her name is. It's been a while since I've rewatched this movie, but there's the female in it. DVD logo there, closed captioning logo, Lionsgate. The back little blurb here says, The Punisher, a tale true to its Marvel Comics origin. Really? That's what you're going with. He's not a war veteran, he's a FBI agent. But okay, whatever. Apparently, this says it's accurate, but it's not. John Travolta with one of his sons there. Yeah, I did buy this from FYE. This, a FYE price sticker on the back there. Special features include Keeping It Real, The Punisher Stunts, Army of One, The Punisher Origins, War Journal on the set of The Punisher, music video, Step Up, performed by Drowning Pool, sneak peek trailer of The Punisher video game, Drawing Blood, Bradstreet style, an interview with the cover artist of The Punisher, and then an audio commentary with director Jonathan Hensley, as well as some deleted scenes. There's a lot of featurettes on this. I had no idea. Blurb about the film. There's where Punisher fights Giant Popeye. Best part of the film, actually. The bottom includes legalese, cast and crew information, and such, tech specs, all that good stuff. Open this up. And there is our disc. Just got the Punisher logo there with the title of the film printed onto that. And if you didn't already know, if there is an extended cut of this movie. I wrestled with whether or not I should include it in this HMR because technically the extended cut makes it a different film. I didn't show the rogue cut of Days of Future Past during that HMR, but I figure this extended cut, mainly because I think that other cut changes that movie fundamentally. This extended cut of the Punisher, however, I don't remember it being changed all that much. I think there's just a subplot that's cut out of the extended cut version. So, we're going to go ahead and look at it here for funsies. So here it is. It was only released on DVD. There is no Blu-ray for this. If my camera would focus, that would be great. There it is. You've got extended cut printed up there at the top. You'll notice he is now credited as Thomas Jane instead of just Tom Jane, and then John Travolta, the Punisher. Very simple poster here. Very effective. The side features just the Punisher logo, now in white. DVD logo and Lionsgate down there at the bottom. The back has a little bit of it ripped off because of a security sticker, presumably. Got that little blurb about how this is apparently a true tale to its Marvel Comics origin. It's not. We got John Travolta there. PC code. That right there is one of the most iconic images from this movie. Whenever I think of the Thomas Jane Punisher, that's the photo that I think of. I don't know what it is, that's the one I think of. Blurb about the movie. Special features include extended version of the movie. I don't know how that's a special feature. You've got an animated Kuwait deleted scene, as well as a comic book gallery, and a making of featurette. Not as many special features as you get on the theatrical cut, but still pretty good selection. Legalese text specs down there at the bottom. It's got these little security clips on the sides of it here. Open it up. Your disc art is changed. However, there is nothing telling you that this is the extended cut of the film. You just have to know based on the artwork. And for comparison's sake, extended cut, theatrical cut. There we go. Here, you can see. You can also tell by the running times, I think. This is 140 minutes, and this one doesn't have a running time that is easily findable. But you just have to know based on the artwork. So we've looked at 2 DVDs. We've got one more copy here, and it is The Punisher on 4K, one of the first Marvel films to make its way onto the 4K format, thanks to Lionsgate owning the rights to this movie, because Disney kind of dragged their feet putting out the older Marvel films on 4K. But here we go. 4K Ultra HD up there at the top. Ultra HD plus Blu-ray plus digital. I don't know why my camera will not focus on this. This is a little bit weird. Got that same poster as on the DVD, except he is now Thomas Jane once again instead of just Tom Jane. Same quote. Spine is pretty much similar. Even the same red logo instead of the white one. Ultra HD Blu-ray. And then the Lionsgate logo down at the bottom. The back is pretty similar. It's actually more similar to the extended cut DVD than the theatrical one. Blurb about the movie. UPC, same image there of Frank Castle. Explanation of what is on your 4K disc as well as your Blu-ray. For the 4K, we actually have bonus features on the 4K itself. We've got audio commentary, deleted scenes, Keeping It Real, and Army of One. Those are the exact same featurettes that you could find on the regular theatrical film disc, as well as War Journal and music video, as well as Drawing Blood, Broad Street style, or Brad Street, excuse me. And I was actually wrong. The Blu-ray only has the movie on it. The 4K is what has the movie and the bonus features. That's different. And then a quick explanation of what Ultra HD Blu-ray is, digital copy, legalese, rating, all that stuff. Slipcover is actually very well done, shiny and all that. Here's the movie underneath the slipcover. Spine's the same. The back is mostly the same, except now you've got cast and crew information down there on the bottom, and you have removed the Frank Castle photo from here to make room for the legalese and such. Inside, your discs are the same as the theatrical cut of the movie. There's your Blu-ray there, with Blu-ray disc logo down there at the bottom, and your 4K is similar, just has 4K over here on the side. Alright, so that is your close-up. Let's move right along to the menu tour. Alright folks, here we are for a menu tour of The Punisher. We're starting off with the theatrical DVD release here. You can see the disc is in the player. Last week we took a look at The Punisher from 1989. If you remember, I said that menu screamed early, late 90s to me. This menu screams 2000s DVD menu to me. It had animations in the background while I was talking, but just the whole style of this menu. There they go again, like the blood animations in the background there, the bullet shell falling out. I mean, it just looks straight up like 2004 DVD menu here, which I guess makes sense. We got play movie, scene selection, setup, and special features. Let's look at scene selection here. Each one has a title. Oh, the skull. You click the skull to go to the next page. Oh, that's kind of interesting. I was like, where exactly do you select the next page? How many scenes do we have here exactly? 28 scenes, and the scene selection button looks like blood splatter. Appropriate for this kind of character. Special features. We've got a little scene from the movie playing there. Hopefully I don't get copyrighted for that. That'd be great if I didn't. We have featurettes, deleted scenes, the music video, and then the video game trailer from THQ. Featurettes. include Keeping It Real, War Journal, Army of One, Drawing Blood, Bradstreet Style, and then you can watch the DVD credits. So like I said, this thing has a fair amount of featurettes on it. It's got some good stuff in terms of bonus features. And for setup, got another quick scene from the movie. There's our audio commentary there. And for languages, we have English 5.1 and English 2.0, and subtitles, Spanish and English. Oh hey, we're back with the extended cut of the Punisher menu tour here. Completely different menu than on the theatrical cut. You can see it's got the Punisher with extended cut below it. You've got scenes from the film playing in the background. You've got play movie with animated intro and just play movie, setup, scene selection, special features. I don't remember what the animated intro is, but we're not going to watch it here because I will surely get copyrighted for that. Here in the setup menu, we have a 6.1 audio mix. Ooh, that's kind of cool. We also have English 5.1 Dolby Digital Surround Sound. Subtitles, English and Spanish, same as the theatrical cut. And you can play the movie or play the movie with animated intro from this little menu here. Scene selection, what do we have for scenes here? We get a little animated Punisher logo. It gets the same number of scenes as on the theatrical cut. Yeah, 28 scenes. Same thing on the theatrical cut. I don't know if they have the same titles or not. I don't think they do, but it's got an interesting design to it. Special features. You can also watch the animated introduction just by itself without playing the movie. Tour of Duty, making the extended cut, and the Marvel comic book covers gallery featuring the Punisher, and then a little featurette there about films also from Lionsgate. I don't remember seeing this featurette listed on the back of the case. It might have been. Let me take a look. No, it just says extended version of the movie. It doesn't say that there's a little featurette about making the extended cut. I might have to check that out because that's actually interesting. And now here we are for the regular Blu-ray menu of The Punisher. And these menus keep getting more different as we keep moving along here with The Punisher from 2004. You've got a blue tint to the entire menu here with your options down here at the bottom. Play main feature, also from Lionsgate. Menu tutorial help. I guess that's your setup options, and those are your subtitles. This menu is pretty bare bones, actually, since there's no bonus features on the Blu-ray itself. They're all on the 4K disc. There's nothing really to look at here. No, like, separate menus or anything. This is just all one main thing. You got main feature and all that stuff. I guess you could play the menu tutorial help feature, but you got a 6.1 audio mix and a 5.1 audio mix and English and Spanish subtitles. That's a lot shorter than I thought it would be, but that's really it for the Blu-ray menu. And for our final menu, ladies and gentlemen, this is the 4K menu, and another different design for the menu. We actually have scenes from the film playing in the background and no blue tint or anything, and not all of our features are listed on the main menu. We have play movie, setup, scenes, and special features. Setup for audio, we have a Dolby Atmos mix, Spanish 5.1 and French 5.1, some more languages making their way onto this film. And for subtitles, English, another version of English, and Spanish. For scenes, they have removed the titles from them, and I believe we have the same number. Let's find out. I missed it. Oopsie. No, we don't have the same number. I think it was 14. We have 14 scenes that we can play from this disc here. Special features include the audio commentary, our deleted scenes. Okay, yeah, we can select them. I was like, can we select the deleted scenes? Yeah, we got Introduction of the Saints, and Livia Saint insults Mickey Duca. Keeping It Real, Punisher Stunts, Army of One, War Journal, music video, Drawing Blood, Bradstreet Style, and bookmarks thing that I don't remember what it is or how it works. So far there's really not any exclusive special features to this 4K. It's all the same stuff that was on the theatrical cut of the movie back on the DVD. The only exclusive featurette, I think, is the one found on the extended cut. And before anybody in the comments asks me, I know I said this in the close-up section, but some of you might not have heard, Extended Cut is only available on DVD. The Extended Cut is not found on the Blu-ray or on the 4K. It's just the theatrical cut here. That, folks, wraps up our menu tours. Let's go ahead and head on back and answer the 5 main questions, as always. Alright, so we're back from the close-up. Now it's time to answer the 5 main questions, as always. Number 1. Where can you pick this product up? This movie is really prevalent at used DVD and Blu-ray stores. I mentioned I picked up my copy from FYE years ago. I'm pretty sure if I went into an FYE nowadays, which I wouldn't recommend that you do, not because of current situations, well, kind of because of current situations. Also, their prices just haven't gotten any better and their stock has gotten worse. I'm pretty sure you could still walk into an FYE and find 50 copies of The Punisher on DVD and Blu-ray. So yeah, used DVD and Blu-ray shops or online. That one's always pretty prevalent. Number 2, is this product still being printed nowadays? It's been 2 years since the 4K released. I really can't say yes to this. I would love to, but I can't. Number 3, should you pick this product up? Here's the portion of the review where I mention how much I actually like this movie. Most of my love for this film comes from the lead performance in Thomas Jane. He's a good Frank Castle, but he's even better when he morphs into the Punisher. He's charismatic when he needs to be, and I feel for him when his entire family is murdered. Like, literally his entire family. Like, we see everybody take the bullet. Yeah, they're all on this, like, family reunion in Puerto Rico, and his, like, entire extended family is killed. Like, all of them. It's kind of crazy. And that's another reason why I like this movie, is because of just how over the top in nature it is. It's really funny to me that just 5 dudes with guns are able to kill an entire family, especially when Frank's father is really into guns, who, by the way, is played by Roy Scheider, which I thought was really awesome. Jaws, hey, welcome back to the show, Roy. It's crazy, but it works for me. Going back to Thomas Jane, though, when he becomes the Punisher, this guy is straight off of the comic book pages. This guy is amazing when he becomes actually Frank Castle's Punisher. His stoic stare is frightening, sends chills up my spine. He's not better than Jon Bernthal. I love Jon Bernthal's Punisher. He is straight up comic book Punisher, but Thomas Jane comes pretty close. And he's not the kind of Punisher that you would think he would be. He doesn't just go in and mow down a bunch of people like Lundgren's Punisher did. This Punisher in this movie is more methodical, more calculating, more thoughtful in how he exacts his plans. Instead of just straight up shooting people, which I'll admit is one of the reasons I love this character, he actually goes through with torturing them mentally and physically. He breaks down their minds before he carries out his ultimate punishment, which is shooting them in the head. It's a different take on this character, and I think the movie does a good job at pulling that off. I'll admit, though, when I first saw this movie, I was a little bit underwhelmed by the lack of violence, but when there is violence and when there is shootouts, they're really good and really well done. The rest of the performances in this movie, they're all good. Even John Travolta as Howard Saint. He's pretty okay. His character could be rewritten, though, to be somewhat competent and not just like an idiot throughout the entire movie. That could have fixed some things. He's over the top and his motivations are there, but he's a weak character and very underwhelming as the overall villain. His wife is more evil than him, and that's a teeny bit pathetic there, John. The only thing that saves Saint is Travolta's performance. Like I said, it's good in parts, but it's also wacky and over the top in other parts. It's kind of all over the map. Travolta's right-hand man, Quentin Glass, is way more interesting than him. And just so happens that the dude gives a better performance than Travolta does. He's actually way more compelling than Travolta is. Now, like I said in the previous section of this HMR, this movie is based off of the storyline Welcome Back Frank, written by Garth Ennis. And the characters that live in Frank's apartment complex, Joan, Bumpo, and Dave, they're all from the Welcome Back Frank comic. I have not read that comic yet. I will get around to it at some point. I own it. I want to read it. That's someday. They're in that comic, and apparently they're written better in the comic, because I really hope they are, because they're not written very well here. I mean, they're functional in their roles. I wouldn't say that I hate them. They work, and I was never annoyed by them per se, so I guess that's a good thing. They all felt expendable. You could cut them all entirely and have a 90-minute movie, and it'd still be just as compelling. And that's a problem. I mentioned last week how the Punisher was never a cop. I don't remember him being an FBI agent either. He is an FBI agent! I don't know why he's an FBI agent in this movie. He is a war veteran, though. He fought in the Gulf War, I think, is what they say. So he is a veteran, so I guess it makes sense why he has an extensive knowledge of firearms. I also don't remember him ever living in Florida, because that's where this movie takes place. Tampa. Just that's kind of funny. Punisher movie takes place in Tampa with a bunch of old retirees, but I guess it works. As I previously said, the action scenes in this movie are all well done. There's not many of them because of the psychological nature of this Punisher character, but for the most part, they're all really well done and well choreographed, well shot. The best fight in the entire movie is when Frank fights this giant Popeye-esque character in this little sailor suit. That is the best fight in this entire movie because it's funny, it's well done, well shot, you can see everything going on, and it ends satisfyingly. And the climactic shootout in Saint's giant building is really good too. Although it ends kind of weird with the Punisher tying Saint to a car and sending him through a giant flaming explosion. And it's clearly not John Travolta, it's his stunt double that's tied to the car. So it kind of ends abruptly, and I'm not really a fan of how it ends. My biggest problem with this movie, I think, is the fact that it's tonally inconsistent. At one point, it'll be fun, laughable, over the top, but at the other point, it'll be deadly, dark, serious, with Punisher psychologically torturing these people. Because it's a bit jarring to go from light, campy tone to then dark, psychological torture. Maybe it's just me, but I feel weird, like, jumping around between those two tones. However, despite those problems I have with this movie, I can't help but be entertained by it every time I watch it. There's good fight scenes. Thomas Jane is amazing as this Punisher character. He actually has a skull on his chest, and it's the version of the Punisher skull that I like, the skinny version of it. I don't like the big fat version of it. I like the skinny one. The Netflix skull is pretty good too. I like how it's kind of like half painted on. I really like that look to it as well. But this is true comic book skull for Punisher, and I love it. Travolta is weak as a villain, but he works. The other characters, they work in this film. I think ultimately this movie is a guilty pleasure to me. It's like, I know it's not great, I know it could be better, but I can't help but like it, and I can't help but watch it every now and then. So yes, I recommend Punisher from 2004. I say you should go out and watch this. And I recommend getting the 4K of this. The 4K looks pretty daggone good in a lot of scenes. Looks a little bit better than the Blu-ray, I think. Way better than the DVD. I guess I should also say if you should see the extended cut, because there's an extended cut of this movie out there that literally just adds in another subplot to explain how Howard Saint found out that Frank Castle was the one who shot Saint's son at the beginning of this movie. That's the inciting event of the movie. And the subplot focuses around Frank's partner in the FBI known as Weeks. Weeks has a gambling problem, and basically Weeks is the one who tells Howard that Frank is the one who killed his son, and then later on in the movie, Frank kills Weeks. There's just not a lot to this extended cut. It's pretty much the exact same movie, it just explains a little something that makes the story more coherent. I wouldn't recommend seeking out the extended cut, because it's really not that worth it, in my opinion. You get the same experience watching the theatrical cut and the extended cut. Number 4, where should you pick this product up? Heck, if you find it in a store for a cheap price, definitely get it, especially if you still find the 4K on store shelves. And number 5, what price should you pay? For a DVD, $5. That's really not that expensive. For a Blu-ray, maybe 8 to 10. Really not that expensive either. The 4K, though, I think is still priced at $20. That's pretty worth it, honestly, for this. It's cheaper than a lot of other 4K titles out there. 4Ks usually go for about 30 nowadays, or 35 if you're looking at steelbooks. So definitely go for the 4K if you find it priced at around $20. So that, folks, wraps up the HMR on The Punisher from 2004. A little bit of behind the scenes trivia for you here. There was a sequel for this movie planned. Thomas Jane was signed on. The director, Jonathan Hensley, was signed on. I think it came down to there just wasn't enough money there, and then the director walked, because if you watch the commentary for this movie, it's just the it's the saddest commentary ever, because it's just the director complaining that they didn't have a lot of money for this movie, which is sad, don't get me wrong, but dude, come on, comment about some behind the scenes stuff, not just complaining about, well, we didn't have enough money for this scene, so we didn't get to do this. Well, we didn't have enough money for this scene, so we didn't get to do this. So yeah, Lionsgate was not going to give a lot of money for this sequel, so the director walked. Thomas Jane, I think, walked because of script problems. He didn't like where they were going to take the character, so he left. So the Punisher wound up getting recast for a third time with Ray Stevenson. And in 2008, 4 years after this movie came out, we got Punisher Warzone, which is weird because according to reports, Punisher Warzone is the script that Thomas Jane walked away from the role over. So, is it a sequel? Is it a reboot? Lionsgate seems to think it's a reboot. It's kind of a pseudo-sequel. I don't know. We'll talk about that more next week because we're covering Punisher Warzone next week to cap off our Punisher trilogy of mediocre movies. I still wish I was covering the Netflix show. I really wish I was. I love that show so much. I just finished rewatching season 1 to prep for this HMR series. Oh, it's so good. I'll see you all next week, though, for Punisher Warzone. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, good night, everybody.